Okay, so I'll keep it short and sweet because probably like me, you're all very hungry. So my name's Liam, I'm from a web design company, creative director there, so I'm very design oriented, so very digital skills based, but kind of more on the creative side. Now, we kind of started as a table going over why and what an apprenticeship is, and digital skills is kind of a general term, so can we be more specific? And we kind of came up with, we had some guys on the table from education, someone from engineering. So we kind of quickly found out that digital skills is used in lots of different ways, and I went to a conference one day, and it was actually put on by Adobe, so the company that makes Photoshop and fireworks, and they quite bluntly said that our software is developed to help the people that are very logical be more creative, and the people who are very creative be more logical, so developers and designers can work together. Now, they said it's a really hard job because getting someone that can do both things is pretty much impossible. And I think apprentices kind of struggle that they're generalised like that on a regular basis. So we kind of said that an apprenticeship scheme should be more led by the skills that you want to use. So it could be more creative or more hands-on or more logical thinking, like our developers cannot design anything, but they're very good at making a database work. So the apprenticeships need to be more focused. You can't just go to a young person and say, do you want to work in a web company? And they say yes. You say, what do you want to do? And they go, well, I don't really know. So we need to kind of understand what it is that they're after. And this is what led us on to kind of the career advice. So when I was going through education, I remember kind of having a career advice evening, but it didn't really get me anywhere, and I definitely didn't at the end of it say I want to be a creative director of a web company. I think I probably said I was going to be a policeman or something boring. So I think that they need to be kind of the things where we get students at the ripe age where they've learned their foundations of maths and English and science, and they're at the stage now where they're kind of looking at a career path. And that's where we need to figure out how do we push them in the right direction, how do we find out from them what they want to do, and make sure that we give them the right kind of path. Because I've got lots of people who've come out of university and they've gone into jobs that they either hate, so they wasted, I don't know, £8,000 on university fees for something they don't really want to do, or they drop out halfway through. So figuring out what they want to do from an early age, I think, is going to be really beneficial. And we came up with the idea that better career advice, not just from education bodies, because they're very biased. You know, they want students to stay in sixth form or go to college because they get money from that. They're not going to advise someone to go into an apprenticeship, you know, with chorus if it's not going to make them any money. So we need to be, you know, it could be that they create a new section of the education to focus on career advice, and good career advice from people who understand, you know, the general breadth and how difficult it is from a young person's perspective to find out what they want to do. The use of volunteers and mentors, as everyone's said I think on every table, is a fantastic idea. People who've been in the industry, done things before, they're the ones that young people need to learn from. There's no point in using people, you know, just teachers, because the teachers are there to teach, and they sometimes get a little bit behind on things. So a good example of this is our lead developer. He's just come out of a 3-year part-time foundation course in some kind of generalised IT qualification, and he's got his master's degree, but while he was doing it, his tutor was trying to teach him how to do security and how best to make a site secure or a database or something, and Elliot promptly went and hacked the tutor's own example, proving that he knew nothing about what he was talking about. He just learned it on a quick seminar somewhere, not really up to speed with the current day information. That's something I think education bodies really need to focus on, because the web in our industry moves so quick that I've even spoken to the local education industry, and they can't put on a course quick enough, because I know that as soon as it comes out it'll be 2 years out of date. So they're teaching stuff that's old hat, and that's not really a problem with education. It's just that some digital skills industries move a lot faster than others, and it's just making the government and education aware of that. And someone said, was it the guy before me or someone on another table? They said putting the teachers rather than the students into industry. I think that's fantastic. I've not heard that before, and you know, we quite happily take on someone in education, a teacher or a part-time teacher, bring them in, a day or an evening, teach them about what we want students, and then they can pass it on, rather than having 20 students in at a time. So I think that's a really good idea. What else have we got? Basically, without going over everything again, I think education needs to be a bit more in tune with industry, because they're trying to teach people to be placed in these jobs, and if they don't really know what's going on, then God help us, because we're going to get some really weird candidates. So I think that's probably where the government needs to focus. And it would be nice if the government gave us some incentives as businesses to help us take on students. So tax cuts would be great. More money for apprentices, because I don't know about you, but our time's pretty valuable. We have clients paying us to do professional work. We can't be spending a lot of time with apprentices because we just won't survive. So the government definitely needs to think something about that. It needs to be beneficial for businesses. They can't expect us to do it for free. Anything from our table? No? Okay. Cheers.